Some guys didn't even really know how to write a check, you know, because they never had to.
Some guys don't even know how to open up a bank account.
I cashed my first check in the NFL at a cash and joint, which I think they laughed at me, yo.
The Oakland A's paid Rickey Henderson $1 million in a single check. And sometime later, the A's management had realized that that check had not cleared. So they called up Rickey Henderson and they said, Rickey, did you cash the check? It doesn't show up. And he says, no, I framed it.
I cashed my first paycheck and got it in $20 bills, and I took it back to my hotel room and laid it on my hotel bed, and I watched TV and ordered room service. And I thought I would never be able to spend all of the money I had in my room at that one time.
I was caught up like everybody else. And people started to display wealth. I remember those fat rope chains that people used to have on their neck. And that was the only way that they can say that they were successful.
I'm in the car with this particular football player, I won't say his name, and I bought me some jewelry. I think I spent about 50 grand on it. So this guy, he wrote a check in the car with the jewelry guy behind us for like $250,000.
We were draped. That was the word, draped. We were draped in jewelry. Custom diamond pieces, chains, crosses, you name it. I guarantee you I spent $1 million on jewelry.
I'm Lala.
I'm Carmelo Anthony from the Denver Nuggets.
And we're about to show you our crib.
Come on in.
Come in.
Every time I see MTV Cribs, I say to myself, maybe I don't really need a 6-bedroom house with just me and my girlfriend living there.
In 1998, I moved into a $500,000 home, and I was 5,500 square foot, and I was in it by myself, and it didn't feel like home.
Evander Holyfield bought this great property, 100-something acres. A little bit later, when he's heavyweight champ, he tells me he decided to build this 52,000 square foot home on the property. And I said, what? He said, oh, it's great. I can do anything. I have 2 bowling alleys going in and blah, blah. I said, can we cut it in half, the house? I said, you don't need 2 bowling alleys.
I bought myself a yacht, a mansion, and a couple of cars. That ain't even $1 million. That's $7 million. I pretty much gave it away.
Your father said that Michael doesn't have a gambling problem. He has a competitive problem.
You know, I want to go out on the limb and win.
I know a lot of my former teammates that had gambling problems.
Everyone knows some people that gamble, but I didn't know it was that prevalent.
I mean, they like to gamble. It's just a part of our nature.
I was a big gambler. I would bet a couple $1,000s a hand playing blackjack and things like that. So I betted big, I won big at times, and I lost big.
Former NFL player Ray Buchanan told of high-stakes wagers among teammates.
I've heard of numbers jumping up there in the $20,000 for writing a check. You know, $30,000 of writing a check.
On a plane ride.
On a plane ride.
You know, if a guy is gambling at that level on a plane, can you imagine what he's gambling at a casino?
You'd be totally surprised how many athletes in the casinos in Vegas gambling.
When I made the deal with Caesar's Palace, Evander played a lot of blackjack at their casino. They asked me if I wanted to take his signing bonus, which was $1 million, in chips. I told them no, thank you.
I seen players make $1 million bets on a golf tournament.
John Daly claims to have lost $50 million gambling.
How much money have I lost in gambling? Probably $10 million.
I wasn't one to have a gambling problem. I had a spending problem.
It's not sexy to invest in a mutual fund. It really isn't. It's not exciting.
Man, I'm growing my 10 million into 11.2 million. That's not sexy.
Owning a bar, owning a club, far more exciting.
I've been burnt before. I gave a guy 30 grand one time, I'll never forget. It was a frozen drink place. We can get this spot right here on Memorial Drive. Prime spot, prime location. Let's do it. 30 grand, gone, down the drain. I might have went in that place 2 times.
Lost some McDonald's, I lost a Burger King in Tennessee.
Statistically, only about 1 out of 30 or 40 of those investments work out at all. And those are the best ones that exist in the world. What are the chances that your cousin or your mother's friend has one of those deals that's going to work out?
Guys trying to open up restaurants in the hood, you know, and they ask you to do it, and then you ask for their business plan, they ask, what's that? Like, exactly.
I had an opportunity to look at a deal that involved putting poles in houses, in the basement, exercise poles. There were actually people hawking this deal to several of my players. And of course, to my knowledge, the deal has fallen through, and the people that got involved have lost all their money.
I have one client who came to me and said that he was approached by a friend of his to take, this is actually very humorous, it's ingenious, areas that flood often. Why don't you take something where you can put the furniture in this plastic, blow it up, and if a flood came, your furniture would float down the river unharmed, and you could pick it up somewhere down the road. This way it would be protected.
I remember one point seeing I had like 60-some different cell phones. I know I only used one.
Buying people houses, cars, whatever I thought they needed.
I pay more rent than government assistance.
People that weren't even family, friends.
I have clients of mine who literally have 6 homes for their friends and for their parents, and they bought them all, and they're making those mortgage payments. When their career ends, what are they going to do? Call up and say it's time to move out?
In a sense, that probably was one of the biggest mistakes I made for us managing my money.
100% of the money that I loaned out, I didn't get 1 cent back.
What do? You take the loss and you go on.
This stuff does destroy relationships because people think that they are owed something.
I actually saw a player get a bill from his mother for $25,000 for raising him. It was on his birthday, and it came with a tie, and it said, if you're not going to be a part of our lives, here's your birthday present, and I'd like you to pay me for having raised you in my home.
Friends of mine have called it the Catholic guilt, but for right or wrong, I really felt a sense of responsibility for helping out my family and friends.
You know what? I've got to help some people out that help me, and that's where it starts.
I felt deep down somehow that that I owed them for where I was, that their influences or their help in my past ultimately led me or got me to the position that I was in.
They don't want to feel like they're distancing themselves from where they came from.
My father, every single day of my life growing up, I was getting him a cold one, getting him a beer. And it was something that, you know, affected me, because if you didn't do it fast enough, you're getting hit with the belt. You know, I don't like to remember that. I don't want my dad to be angry like that. Maybe if I let him have the money, that stuff would make him happy and it'd go away.
One of the things I heard was that for women, it's this thing that you can apply to. You know, you got all these blogging sites and stuff, and it's called Baller Alert.
Our slogan is, for women who want to live the ballerific life. When Michael Jordan was playing for the Wizards, at the time I was the VIP coordinator for one of the hottest clubs, a block away from the MCI Center where Michael Jordan played. We had a radio broadcast at the time, and it was a live broadcast going on. We shouted out that Michael Jordan was in the club, and maybe an hour later, 2,000 girls showed up.
This is how serious this thing is. When a baller shows up to a place, you receive a text on your phone so you can get nice and cute and go out and try and catch you a baller.
I had 7,000 girls signed up.
Wow.
The players complain about the gold diggers, but they do everything possible to attract them.
Ballers are groupies too. They'll have their entourage go and find women and bring them to the VIP. It's almost like if you're watching Animal Planet.
Like you're getting that support, you're getting that love, you're getting this and that. But I tell you this, it comes with a price. And the price is your money.
Lost 2 houses back to back.
On June 9th, Rison's house was destroyed in a fire. His girlfriend, rap singer Lisa Lopez, was charged with setting the blaze.
I could tell that, she had been drinking a little bit. I slapped her after I had been hit about 50 times to try to calm her down.
A witness says he saw Lopez standing over a bathtub where the fire started, yelling obscenities and saying, "I don't care anymore."
It's like we all stopped what we was doing and we looked up. This black smoke just rolling.
You step away and the camera goes off and the flashing lights and the cheers go away. A lot of these guys don't know who they're with. That's why divorce rates are so high amongst professional athletes.
60% of players are divorced 3 years out of ball. 60%.
First thing about your career you'd go back and do over if I gave you a chance. You've got to have something you'd like to go back and not have bought with your pro money.
My ex-wife.
Sure as heck don't go into a marriage thinking it's going to end. You don't budget aside $2 million to say, oh, this is reserved for when I divorce in 12 years.
Post my career, I kind of knew there was some things going on within my personal life and within my family that wasn't going to be financially very beneficial. Ended up getting divorced, and there was just a lot of similarities between my ex-wife and my father. If it made him happy to get it all, then go for it, because it just isn't worth the aggravation.
Former player Mariana Simonescu said, in the divorce settlement, I didn't ask for much, only that I live comfortably for the rest of my life.
The high price of Greg Norman's divorce. Did I mention high? It's high, Bob.
All of a sudden, you have double the expenses because your spouse is going to, if you don't have a prenup, is going to get some of that money. It's going to get a lot of that money, maybe even half of that money.
Even if you're Michael Jordan, look what happened to him in his divorce. He had to pay over $150 million to his ex-wife. He did not have a prenuptial agreement.
We've all heard about the incident involving Tiger Woods.
Nordegren would not disclose the amount of the divorce settlement, but did say money can't buy happiness or put her family back together.
Children are very expensive.
I have 2 children, and I can't tell you how expensive these kids are. I love them to death, but they're expensive.
How many children do you have, Trey?
I got 9.
With how many different women?
9.
His child support payments now total $17,000 per month, which was more affordable when Henry was still collecting NFL paychecks.
Players that are providing child support while they're playing, they go from $1 million a year to 0. Clearly, you need an attorney to go to the courts and see if they can get those adjusted, but most players fail to do that.
Holyfield pays hundreds of thousands annually to support the 11 children he's fathered by 9 different women.
Jason Caffey, who has fathered 10 children by 8 women, although he played 8 years in the NBA, earning more than $28 million, has left a trail of unpaid child support.
Their lifespan in their careers will not be long. Then what happens? They're not going to be able to afford to raise these children based on the lifestyle that they've created now. And those consequences will be dire emotionally and financially for the women involved and the children.
The money gone, the fame and fortune gone, so do that woman. She be gone too.
I'm not one to really ask for help or ask for handouts, and the people that I really helped out a lot, weren't there offering. The bankruptcy stuff has been a blessing in disguise. When people don't think you have money, they don't call you as much, family included.
The love of money is the root of all evil. It destroys everything around me.
Unfortunately, a lot of young guys ultimately believe that money is their safe haven, but I'm here to tell you that it's not.
It destroyed my family, it destroyed my friends, and it will destroy you if you let it.
I wish I was me now 10 years ago.
I didn't take enough time to make sure that I understood everything.
I should have saved way more money. I should have saved way more money.
Once that number dwindles down to 0, you're not going to make $1 million ever again.
And once you lost, it's going to be hard to find your way back. A lot of us don't.